Baker Mayfield played his ass off. They need to sign that guy. I mean, it was a tough game. Obviously, you don't want to see him throw an interception at the end of the game like that. But how many times have we seen that when there's so much pressure on the line and you're trying to get the ball down the field? We've seen it a ton of times. So I'm not gonna fault Baker for that, but he played his ass off all the way up to
Oh,
yesterday,
hell yeah.
and deserves a contract for sure.
Well, you know what? We got a Baker believer coming on next, actually, and we'll bring him on here. And the guy that we're talking about here is former first-round pick, 22nd overall in 2005 of the Baltimore Ravens. Played 5 seasons with the team, and I mentioned he was an Oklahoma Sooner, so you know he's a big Baker supporter. Let's bring on Mark Clayton, can we, Brad?
Yeah, there we
Mark.
go.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
How we doing? You got the Sooner in the back right there.
Sooner, yeah.
Yeah, you got to represent him.
Got a little painting up there.
Hey, you got everything.
Both teams going there. I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, so since we're talking about Baker off the get-go, and I know you're a big Sooner believer. I mean, Baker, talk about a guy, we're talking about stories. They wrote him off. You saw during the year, he was playing defensive lineman on the year before, practice squad on the Panthers. Yeah. And then there was reports of him possibly being the backup quarterback for the Ravens offering him a contract.
Right.
And then all he did was lead the Buccaneers to the NFC divisional and really change his career around.
Oh, absolutely. Well, first of all, appreciate you having me on, bro.
Yeah. Well, hey, round of applause for him real quick. Kevin, get the clap.
Actually clapping.
Yes, sir. It said a lot. There was a deal on X the other day, and it talked about the 6 black quarterbacks that was in the divisional round.
Yeah, I saw that.
I thought it was awesome that obviously we offered him, a position. But no, dog, Baker's a dog, and he's a dude, and he's been that from day one, and it's crazy. I seen him when he first got to Norman. They allowed him to practice, but they couldn't put him on, Scully yet. And he's out there, and I'm watching the quarterbacks, and at that time it was Trevor Knight and another guy, I don't even know, a couple other guys, but then there was Baker, and he just looked different. And I was like, man, who was that kid? And coach was like, oh, that's Baker Mayfield who just came from Tech. I was like, man, I don't know what it is, but that kid different. And obviously, I mean, sure enough, like he just ripped it up. But his personality is infectious. He's been like that. Like even in that practice, he's not in the guy. He's not even on Scully yet. And you could tell his engagement with the guys was just different. And so I've latched on from then just as a fan and being one of the underdogs myself. I was really small dude when I got to college, and I didn't have all the stars and all that stuff, and it was just a grind. And the ability to kind of not see anything, but what I need to do to get to where I'm trying to get to is something that I saw with him, and he does it with charisma, a lot more charisma than I do, than most, to be honest. And it's fun to watch.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, especially at least in Baltimore, will be biased in the sense because you played for a division rival, or Baker, what I'm talking about, playing for Cleveland. So even if you really like him, I mean, Zach, you even talked about this. You really liked Baker from the beginning.
Yeah, I loved Baker at Oklahoma. I thought he was just the passion he played with, and just like kind of Mark, how you kind of just said, like just the way he led and how everyone bought into what he did and does and the way he carries himself. I love that about him. And it reminded me of the Dan Campbell quote when he told the story that we watched last week, where Baker showed up to throw for his receivers that were being looked at for the NFL draft, despite the fact he had just thrown a few, hours before for his workouts. He had workouts coming up after. And so many quarterbacks would say, I'm not, I can't do this. I got to help myself. So Mark, like what kind of stuff how does that impact locker room when you have a guy that as a leader who just wants the best for everyone, no matter who it is and no matter what he has to do?
Like you said, it's infectious. I know we've all been in locker rooms, and you just know what it means to have a locker room that's on the same page and cohesive, and everybody just get it. Like we just get along. It makes getting on the field, or when you go and play the game, it makes it very seamless. It's easy and it's fun, and you're playing with your boys. It's almost like backyard ball again.